It began on a small island off the coast of Europe, as the winds of change swept across the world in the late 16th century. England, under the resolute leadership of Queen Elizabeth I, looked beyond its borders for opportunity and adventure. The age of exploration had arrived, and with it, the seeds of empire were sown. English ships set sail into uncharted waters, their voyages funded by powerful joint stock companies such as the East India Company and the Virginia Company. These organizations were more than mere businesses. They were the architects of a new world order, staking claims in distant lands and opening lucrative trade routes. The competition was fierce. England vied with Spain, Portugal, and the Dutch for dominance of the seas and the riches that lay beyond the horizon. Every expedition was a gamble, every colony a foothold in a rapidly expanding global network. The goal was simple: to control trade, to acquire territory, and to transform the fortunes of the nation. In the 17th century, the British colonial enterprise took shape. Colonies emerged in many forms, some governed directly by the crown, others operated by investors or private proprietors. Settlements sprang up in the Caribbean, the eastern coast of North America, and along the gold-rich shores of Africa. The founding of Jamestown in 1607 marked the first permanent English colony in the New World, while sugar plantations flourished in Barbados and Jamaica. But this prosperity came at a terrible cost. The British became deeply entangled in the transatlantic slave trade, with the Royal African Company profiting from the forced transport and brutal exploitation of millions. By the 18th century, Britain's ambitions had grown, and so had its appetite for conflict. The Act of Union in 1707 fused England and Scotland into a single powerful entity, Great Britain. Through war and diplomacy, Britain wrested control of strategic territories from rival European empires. The Battle of Plassey in 1757 brought Bengal under British rule, laying the foundation for dominance in India. The 7 Years' War secured Canada and vast stretches of North America, but conquest was met with resistance at every turn. In North America, the 13 British colonies bristled under imperial policies and taxes imposed from afar. The cry of no taxation without representation echoed through colonial towns, culminating in defiant acts like the Boston Tea Party. In 1776, the Declaration of Independence sparked a 7-year struggle, ending with the loss of the American colonies, Britain's first major setback on the world stage. Yet defeat only spurred the empire to new heights. The 19th century became known as Britain's imperial century. Explorers like Captain James Cook claimed Australia and New Zealand, while merchants and soldiers expanded British influence in India, Southeast Asia, and Africa. The Royal Navy ruled the waves, and the sun famously never set on the British Empire. But imperial glory was shadowed by unrest, as exemplified by the Indian Rebellion of 1857. In its aftermath, India came under direct British rule, and Queen Victoria was crowned Empress of India, a symbol of imperial might. The British Empire's reach continued to grow. In Africa, Britain competed in the Scramble for Africa, controlling Egypt and the vital Suez Canal, fighting wars in South Africa, and carving out colonies from Cape to Cairo. Elsewhere, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand evolved into self-governing dominions, loyal to the crown yet increasingly independent. 2 world wars in the 20th century shook the empire to its foundations. Millions of colonial subjects served in British forces, but the economic and human costs were immense. After 1945, the world had changed. The United States and Soviet Union eclipsed Britain as superpowers, and calls for independence swept through the colonies. India broke free in 1947, followed by Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and nations across Africa, the Caribbean, and Asia. By the late 20th century, only a handful of overseas territories remained. The legacy of the British Empire is complex and enduring. It spread language, law, and industry, but also left deep scars of exploitation, division, and loss. Empires rise and fall, shaped by ambition and undone by the tides of history. The story of the British Empire is a story of transformation, of the world, and of Britain itself.